Of the protagonist from the short film Paperman. After watching the film, I thought it'd be best I choose him because he has so many shots and exempts so many different motions and movements throughout the short film. I'm going to start off in chronological order, starting off with what we can assume to almost be an establishing shot of our protagonist at the 12-second, 13-second mark. We get this guy with unkept hair, right? We see strands sticking out from his side and from the bottom, especially on the top. We get this sort of alfalfa look to him. Then we look at the protagonist, his nose, right? His nose in proportion to the rest of his face is disproportionate. And this says something. If we think about excuse me, Scott McCloud here. We think about his books, where when he talks about when we extract an image, right? Basically, that's what we're doing in this animated film, an image through cartooning. We're not so much eliminating details as we're focusing on specific details, and we kind of get that idea in the Paperman, right? We really see this guy who has a head bigger than his body, right? So he has some type of intelligence. He's long, he's very flimsy, so he can be moved. He's flexible. He has unkept hair, so we understand that he's not some elite or very bourgeois type guy. Then we move on to his suit, and you see these little crinkles. I wouldn't say wrinkles, I'm going to say crinkles in his suit on his arm. So they're not straight. And if this were in reality, right, we wouldn't say, oh, this person has a wrinkle in his suit. But in comparison to other characters, like his love interest, the woman in the short film, he has a lot of wrinkles in his clothing, right? We see her, she has a lot more of a smooth look to her, even though they're both wearing sports coats. We go to the 26-second mark, and we see he has an opportunity to talk to her, right? He obviously has attraction to her, but he avoids eye contact. This shows us that he's caught off guard. He didn't expect to see someone like her on his mundane routine route that he does every single day, right? So we can see that he's obviously caught off guard. And it's important to note this because later on throughout the film, we see that he's not that type of guy. He's not someone who's lacking confidence, right? Once we go to the 49-second mark, and I'll just scoot up. This is further my point. He has no problem making eye contact. Right? He waits for her to turn around. He appreciates the fact that she turns around. He even smiles afterwards. And if we think about his workplace, he has no problem making eye contact with his superior also, right? He looks at his superior all the way until his superior loses eye contact with him. So it's not a problem of he is someone who lacks confidence or he's a timid guy, but this is something that caught him off guard. It just shows how struck by her beauty he was. Then we get to this shot of around a minute and 7 seconds, a minute and 9-second mark. We see him in comparison to his co-workers. They're all older gentlemen, right? He has a full length of hair, almost too much hair, very coconut head shape. Compared to the people in the background, his co-workers, they're all balding, right? They have a bald top and hair around their sides, right? This represents his youth. I mean, we can obviously see how young he is, and where he compares to people who are co-workers to him. He also has rolled up sleeves, so he's not someone who's a slacker, right? He has no problem going out and doing things. He obviously shows that he's a hard worker in comparison to the people behind him who all have their sleeves rolled down, right? They're much older, they're much more traditional in how they do things. The short film goes on, and once we get around to the minute 25-second mark, we see that he's much more of a timid guy. He's thoughtful. And then we're going to go to the 4-minute 1-second mark. Bear with me. So we can imagine if this was a bigger guy, like the people around him, that these envelopes wouldn't move him the way they do, right? He's jumping up and down, going in circles almost moving as easily as paper would through wind. This shows his versatility. He's not firm in his ways. He's moving. He can be moved. Right. So he decided, I'm going to give up. But obviously, it's not firm in that decision. He's still able to, change that. And then once we get to the 4 minute and 58 second mark. All right. It's hard to see in that that few second clip. But look at how flimsy he is. Look how he moves. He doesn't stand up straight. His hands move towards the back. It's almost as if one part of his body moves and the other part of the body slowly follows to catch up. So he's not like someone who can,